So those are my own little personal opinions. One other thing, 53,000 satellites being launched, six a month to support 5G. We're talking about trillions of dollars of investment, trillions. So trying to get that backed out is difficult, especially when you consider that when John showed the chap who was talking in favour of new technology, and he actually mentioned that the satellites that are going to be launched would have civilian and military purposes. So it's not just 5G. It's not, as Nick said, they're not launching these satellites so you can download your HD movie in 3 seconds. These are militarised satellites, and I'm not trying to be scaremongering. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. As he said, do your own research. But these are military satellites, and I think I've said more than I should have done. Emma, did you want to say something? Emma wants to say something. Here we go.
One final point that's really important, is not being touched on yet, is how can we protect ourselves and heal ourselves from the current damage, from the current levels of EMFs. So if I could just pass over to Kay, she's got something to tell us.
Now to the good part of the show. I find not enough people talk about solutions. There are a lot of us that are already ill, not just because of 5G, but because of previous generations of electromagnetic radiation. I found a very good medical paper. It's on, the URL is medicalinsider.com/cardiac3.html. And this is written by a bunch of doctors, so I'm not making any medical claims, they are. They've got at the back of it a whole bunch of protocols, how you can help yourself through natural means, dietary changes, as well as nutrition supplements. There are things that can be done so that if you're ill already through this soup that we're all swimming in, you can get your body back, you can get your health back. In my case, I've changed my diet to a ketogenic diet, which is an extremely low-carb diet, and for some reason it's made massive differences. Look it up, there's thousands of videos on YouTube about keto. I don't want to keep you any longer, just I'll say this website one more time, because for those that want to read themselves into it, because all this electromagnetic soup is creating nitric oxide, superoxide, and peroxynitrates in our body. And those molecules can be fought off or they can be lessened by certain nutrition supplements. The website is medicalinsider.com/cardiac3.html. Thank you very much.
Hi. I'd just like to give you a timeline of the Bournemouth Council meetings. I think the first meeting was in July, and I went along to that, and Mike had prepared a petition and had about 150 names on it.
Yeah, we had a day and a half to get it together.
A day and a half to get it together, and 150 names on it. Then the next stage was the meeting in September, where people gave verbal representations. It was about 50-50 anti-5G and pro-5G. There is a recording, a video recording that you can find on YouTube. How do they search for that? BCP.
I would think actually it'd be better to try and find the link through the BCP website.
Okay, I'll try and find it and put it up on our BCP 5G free page, so you can find it on there. And then the next stage was they had a call for written evidence, and there was a meeting on the 11th of November where they were looking at the evidence, or supposedly looking at the evidence. The Overview and Scrutiny Board, supposedly looking at the evidence. And that was the meeting at which I was so shocked that I decided to run in the election. Because what they'd actually done was they'd extrapolated the figures of how many people had responded. There was over 200 responses, I believe, and they would say something like 90 people had health concerns, 50 people had security concerns, 40 people thought it was a brilliant idea, and they didn't present any of the evidence. What they had instead was they had 4 council employees. There was a public health Dorset representative, There was a planning person advising them about the planning framework, and there were 2 people from the Lansdowne testbed project. So they referred to them for their opinions on all of the queries that had come up. So there was no opportunity for the public to speak. There was no opportunity to say anything that we wanted to say. We were just all sitting there boiling. You sent a note. Yes. And then the next stage was, there was the meeting on the 20th of December, the cabinet meeting, and that's where they approved the plan. Before the results from the call for evidence had actually been presented, and that's happening next week. It's very strange. And at that meeting, I was impressed with a lot of the councillors, actually. I think that a lot of them are good people in a bad system and a bad position. And many of them did say that they didn't feel like they really understood it enough, but their hands were tied, because the planning framework says that local councils must make the decisions with a view to advancing the technology, assisting the advance of the technology, and they're not allowed to consider any planning applications on any grounds other than normal planning rules, so they can't consider the health effects. That's outside their remit. So several of them did say that this is an issue that they thought should be taken up at national level, but at local level they had to follow the instructions that were coming to them. So I was reassured that a lot of the councillors just didn't seem well informed enough yet. So I did invite them all to come to this meeting, and I'm going to send them the video. So I would like to offer them this information that we have, and hopefully, well, see what happens. And thank you to the councillors that came today. And I'd just like to introduce a few members of our BCP 5G free team and invite anybody that would like to get involved in the team. We do have these fortnightly meetings, and they are action meetings where we discuss what's going on and how we can help to raise awareness and what actions we need to take. And that is every other Tuesday evening, 6 till 8 p.m. at Bournemouth University. So if you go onto if you join the BCP 5G free Facebook group, you'll get the event invitations for that. And if you're not on Facebook and want that information, then please sign up to my email list. Well, I've got your details, so I can send it out to you. If you want to meet the team, come to the meeting. Yes, thank you all for coming and for giving up your Saturday afternoon for this. This was the kick-off meeting. We hope that many of you will join our action group, that you will come to the cabinet meeting on Wednesday, that you will become active in this campaign. I've got your details. I will send further information. I have the intention to invite expert presenters, so people that do have even more wonderful information for us. And we could make this a regular event if people would like to do that. We could discuss that at our action group on the 21st of January.